Welcome to The Knock, a podcast where we dive into real stories of real people who have experienced life before Christ and the transformations that come when they answer the knock. Whether you're rooted in faith, feeling distant, or still unsure what you believe, our prayer is that these conversations stir something inside you. Every story we share points back to the same truth. When you open the door, everything changes. Let's get into it. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to The Knock podcast. Here today with Jimmy, my co-host for the day. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, how you doing?
And then we are going to be interviewing my baby brother, Gerrad, today. Dude, I've been super encouraged lately. Just a little side note. All of the athletes that are out there proclaiming Jesus.
You're talking famous athletes.
Yeah, I'm talking like NFL dudes.
Okay.
It's insane. It almost seems like it's completely switched because remember Tim Tebow was like the main guy.
Yeah.
It's gone from that being such an oddity to it almost seems to be rare to not proclaim Jesus.
No, it's true. Everybody used to think like Tim Tebow was kind of weird for how passionate he was about his faith. Now everybody is. It's super cool to see.
Yeah, when I was driving in, I saw Justin Fields, who he was Jets quarterback. I think he's the Jets quarterback now.
Yeah, he was with the Bears.
Yeah, he was with the Bears, moved over to the Jets, and there was a quote from him. It's like, I'm addicted to my Bible.
Nice.
And it's like, it's cool. Like you're seeing that. What's really cool is it's a lot of guys from our hometown.
Yeah.
Like Stroud, McDaniels, like a lot of those big time quarterbacks are, professing their love for Jesus, which
stepping
is really
up.
cool. Really cool.
Saquon.
Saquon, he credited his best season ever.
Yeah,
to being a Christian.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. So really cool. Just a little side note. I thought that was something interesting. But so today we're going over Gerrad's testimony. So I'll do like a little intro for my brother since I've known him for how old are you?
31.
I've known him for 31 years. Some good, some bad, some in between. But no, obviously my little brother played at University of Colorado, was left guard, right?
Yep.
Made all Pac-12 teams. Played in the NFL for a little bit, some camps, and then played some professional like spring league football. And then in the midst of all of that, found Christ, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell people about my testimony. So
there you go. Well, let's kind of start with who were you before Christ?
Yeah, so it's definitely a deep question. So just to give a little backstory, I know our backstory is very similar when we grew up together. So, but grew up in Southern California, didn't have much of a relationship with Christ up until I think was about 10, 11 years old, where I know Bobby talked about it a lot in our last podcast, but not to get into it too much. We had a pretty good stint of going to church, saw radical change within our family, and then it just stopped. My dad got sick. We lost our dad to brain cancer. It was very quick. We found out 2 weeks later he passed. And then I went off to college, and I feel like I harbored all the emotions of things that happened through childhood, things that happened when I had to take care of my dad before he died. And then it was just like I kept running. It was like I was running from dealing with those issues. And we can dig in at any point of this, but essentially after that, after football didn't pan out the way I thought it would. I fell into a pretty deep depression. I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, and a lot of isolation.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but why worry?
Well, I know part of it was I had this vision for my life.
Uh-huh.
And since I remember when I was 5 years old, Bobby and I were outside, and I remember we got like the fake pads. It was like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, we used to get like JCPenney fake pads, and we would do full contact football in the front yard.
Just be me and him. Full contact.
One-on-one football.
So is it like worry, hey, why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah, so I thought, I said when I was 5 years old that I'm going to play in the NFL. And that's my life and my career. And I stood by that until I got into college. Like I was like, that is what I'm going to do. And when that didn't pan out the way I wanted to, and the cards didn't fall, or the chips didn't fall where they're supposed to, yeah, there was a lot of worry. And then I think a lot of it stemmed from watching my dad go through a lot of health issues. I had some things, like a lot of it was exhaustion and just the way I was treating my body as an offensive lineman. I had pretty big gut issues that last for a while, and that was also a consistent worry. So,
worry that, hey, just my body's just trashed.
My body's trashed. I'm not where I want to be. I'm living at home with my mom, and life is just not where I thought it would be at 25 years old.
Yeah, because I remember draft day, what was it, 2016?
17. Yeah.
I remember talking to you. You had a bunch of NFL coaches calling you. I remember you got a call from the Packers, which I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
We legitimately thought that day that you were going to get
lease signed
an $800,000 check. you know what I mean? Like that was kind of. I remember I was in El Paso, and it was a pool day. I was hanging out at the pool with some buddies, and I was constantly checking in with you. I mean, I think we all kind of expected that.
At minimum, I thought I was going to get signed as an undrafted free agent. So I had some really good people in my corner that knew NFL coaches and GMs and stuff like that. Kyle Turley was my offensive line coach. He was a Ram back when they were in St. Louis, and then I think he bounced around. But he was a first-round draft pick, and he knew a couple of the coaches, O-line coaches and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, man, like you have a good shot. The only problem is you have this, like, I don't know if it's like a Red Cross next to your name because of injuries. And there's probably a few other things, but yeah, long story short, football didn't work out the way it was supposed to. And yeah, I overexerted myself when it came to training. I didn't have any relationships out in California outside of my mom, and I was isolated, and I was overworked, I was exhausted, and life wasn't where I thought it would be, and it just led to what I would call my rock bottom. But on the bright side, I used to dwell on that a lot, even after I found Christ. But with the help of Van Ryan and just learning more about Scripture and deepening my faith, that if I wouldn't have had that, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have the beautiful family, beautiful wife I have, and I wouldn't be a follower of Christ. Or maybe I would be. It just would have been a different path. But I'm a firm believer that, I'm a stubborn guy. Like I might have fell into...
Amen.
Yeah. I might have fell into some worse stuff, and yeah, who knows? I don't really know, but that I feel like that was the time where God was like, I'm going to put you at your low. And
where at this time, are you like praying? Did you have any relationship with God?
No.
You're just like, this sucks?
Yeah. It was like 2-3 years of suck. Like bad.
Yeah.
It was
so like
it was
no
rough.
meaning, no purpose.
No, after that, I was a coach and a trainer, and I didn't feel, it was really cool because a lot of the kids that I coached and trained, they're top athletes right now. Right. It's awesome seeing, I turn on college football and I get to see the kids that I coach, but I was 25 years old. I still had the capabilities of playing football at a high level. And yeah, one thing after another, it just wasn't working, and I needed to move on. So
yeah. And I was obviously a part of a lot of that with you, and I saw those struggles. So when was the day that you were just like, hey, the football thing's done? Because theoretically, you went to play at the AAF at the time?
I went and played in the AAF. I went down to San Diego. I was still very much struggling with internal battles. I held myself back from being successful in that league because of where my mental state was. And I hid that pretty well, that I was just in a very bad spot mentally. But I had another shot. Like two or three of actually one of my teammates, Dan Brunskill, he's still an offensive lineman. He's been a starter for the last however many years. I think he's on the Titans now.
On that AAF,
AAF team. Yeah. And I remember when I was getting recruited to play in the AAF, it was Mike Martz, which was
the old Rams coach. Lots of Rams commonality.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's weird because he grew up a St. Louis Rams fan.
Oh, I was the biggest St. Louis Rams fan.
Yeah,
I still have like a miniature Kurt Warner jersey, like from when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
But Mike Martz was like, man, I'm going to get you back to the NFL. I went and sat in his office. I didn't even.
Was he your coach then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even participate in our training camp. He was like, I was having the gut issues. I was having a lot of I was hiding the mental issues that I was going through. And I was just like, yeah, man, like he was like, go home, get better, come back after camp, and you have a spot on this team. Nobody else got that opportunity.
Nice.
And so I had a spot on the team when I came back, and I was still getting paid. I wasn't really playing. Yeah, it was just really it was a rough time. After that, I got my agent was getting me set up to do the XFL. So I was going to come and do a tryout, and whatever team picked me, I was going to do the XFL. I still have the signed contract with them. I didn't end up fulfilling that. I didn't end up going and doing that. I also had opportunities to try out for Canada teams. Didn't do that. So I kind of stopped my professional career. I was like, it's not the NFL. I don't want to be a journeyman across the world trying to play football, making, not to say it's not a great opportunity, but I didn't want to make 50, 60 grand playing football and beat myself up. I already felt physically drained.
Yeah.
But once I kind of peeled some of the onions back on that, a lot of it stemmed from all the things that I didn't handle when it came about, like all the emotional and hang-ups that I didn't handle before college. I didn't handle through college and just steamrolled through college. I was smoking weed and trying to forget everything. And once I had time to sit and gather and all that weighed in on me, that's when things got a little rough. So I continued to coach and train. I started building up my clientele list as far as the kids I was training. But it was the same thing. It was just mundane work.
So just looking at your body language now, it seemed like very unfulfilling.
It was very unfulfilling. I wasn't making very much money. And I was like, I always thought once I came to the conclusion that football wasn't going to work anymore, I wanted to use my mind in some capacity to be successful. And that was an internal challenge that I gave myself. I was like, I want to do something that doesn't relate to sports to make a living. I wasn't a high GPA guy, and it wasn't because of lack of cognition. It was more so lack of effort. And when I was in school, I graduated in 3.5 years. I got through my communications degree, which wasn't very difficult for me, at least.
Yeah.
And I went on, I got a double major out of the University of Colorado. And I was like, I know that I'm smart. I know I'm very capable, and I want to do something else. So after the whole football stuff, the training, I decided I wasn't going to play anymore. I began to lose weight. I ended up losing like 60 pounds in 3 months. So I went from like 310 to, what is that, 250? Something like that? Yeah, 250. Yeah. Lost a bunch of weight, and then I was like, I'm going to get into sales. So I interviewed with a bunch of insurance companies, couple corporate insurance companies. I got job offers. That was my one little claim to fame when I was going through the interview process, is like I never got denied a job. I always was offered whatever job that I interviewed for. So they're just Empower was one insurance company that I got a job offer with. Country Financial. There was just a couple of the bigger insurance companies. But my cousin had reached out to me. My cousin Stephanie, she's like, well, why don't you be like an independent broker and do insurance sales? So I was like, cool. So I went, passed my test, and I started doing that. So I started selling insurance, and
You're still living in California?
still living in California, still living with my mom. I remember taking the test in like her little office.
So are you like going out every night, or
No, I was very much isolated. Like I wasn't.
just you, your mom, and your sister?
Yeah, I was not dating. I wasn't doing anything. Like I was. Yeah, I didn't feel.
So what was the goal at that point? Just get a sales job?
The goal was to find a way to make more money than what corporate America had to offer. Like when I was getting offered like 50, 60, 70K jobs, I'm like, there's no way. I'm not doing that. Yeah.
So I would imagine you grow up, and I remember this vividly from 5 years old on. Anybody that asked you, teachers, and I remember this, like teachers would be like, are you sure? Like NFL, are you sure? I mean, dude, you put on an NFL helmet. So, I mean, you got right there.
Yeah.
I would imagine that transition from, you mentioned something interesting where it's like, hey, I had to transition from my brute strength and my size and my body being the vessel, the thing that's going to make me my money, to my mind.
Yeah.
Not to say, I mean, offensive line, you know, in terms of football positions, besides quarterbacks, it's quarterbacks and offensive line. Like you guys have to think the most.
Yeah.
That's why I was on the D line.
Yeah.
Just run and tackle.
Yeah.
But that transition from using your physical like stature, like your God-given ability to your mind, I would imagine it's probably pretty difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had the opportunity to jump off and try new things and figure out new things, which has been super cool. Like I've never had to do that. It's always been football, learn a playbook. And I think about it sometimes. I'm like, I bet some of my teammates, they always knew I was a smart guy, but I wasn't one of the one of the guys you look at on the offensive line, like, oh, he's just super intelligent. I just didn't give off that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you still don't give off that, but you know, I'm joking. So fast forward to, so obviously you get the life insurance job.
Yeah.
And this is kind of right around when the knock happened. So
yeah.
Let's get into the knock. Let's talk about what was going on in your life during that time, and then what did that knock look like?
Yeah. And I think that, I have a lot to dive into after the knock too. Because I'm still going through the sanctification process, but we'll get into the knock. Life insurance, I started doing really, really well in life insurance. I was one of the top sales guys, like right out the gate. My first 3 months in, I think within the first 6 months, I made more money than I ever imagined I would make at a job, let alone like in 6 months, let alone a year. And life was getting better on the fulfillment side, as far as I can be a provider. I can be somebody that can go out and make money. But in the internal I was still being beat up by past.
Like you start feeling some fire again?
I did start feeling a little fire. Yeah.
Okay.
I started feeling fire. I was getting in better shape. But there was still a big piece missing.
And you're still living at home?
For a little bit, yeah. I was living at home, and then I actually moved and got a really nice apartment over in Orange County, California. And life was, on a worldly standpoint, life was getting better. Right?
Okay.
Internally, not a lot more. But on a worldly standpoint, I started feeling a little bit better about myself. Like I was gaining more confidence. Fast forward a little bit. So it's actually, I guess, backtrack a little bit. Before I moved into that apartment, one of my best friends, we decided to move in together. So he started working with me in insurance. He was going through some life troubles, some addiction issues. And when he had got through with that, he got through rehab, me and him connected again, and we just picked up where we left off. And we've been friends since the first grade. And we started hanging out a lot. I tried to take him under my wing a little bit. Like, hey, let's try this insurance stuff. Like, I'm doing well right now financially. So he came in, he started crushing it. Like, pretty charismatic guy, like was doing really well. So we decided, like, hey, let's move in together. So we moved in. We got a a nice apartment over in Orange County, pretty close to the beach. And yeah, we were going out at that point. Yeah, I started going out, started drinking, started partaking in things I shouldn't, started like dating more, doing those things. Just, what a 27-year-old man would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically we were going out drinking, and we'd wake up after Saturday night drinking. We were feeling pretty crappy about ourselves from what we did the night before. And
A shame over.
Yeah.
I call them. Yeah. I call them shame over. So.
Yeah.
That's a good name for it. I never heard that.
It was a shame over. But when we moved into this apartment, I don't even remember the name of the church, but the church left a super nice like gift basket and said, "Hey, come check our church out." So I had like little coffee gift cards, like just little.
And what would you say your attitudes toward professing Christians was at the time?
I didn't have much of a view on it. I just didn't really. I know that I used to go to church, but there wasn't a big pull for me to start going back to church. It was just like, eh. But when I saw that gift basket, my buddy and I, his grandfather, which passed away, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, he ran a church out of Pasadena, California. And we would go, and not every Sunday, but sometimes during high school, we would go and serve at the church. We'd sing in the choir. So we were semi-involved in his grandpa's church. So we had that connection together. And we get this basket, and I'm like, man, we should go check this out. This is cool. It's a nice gesture. Like probably like $100 basket that they left with all the gift cards and stuff.
That's a cool evangelism tool.
Yeah.
Right? You go into a new apartment.
Yeah.
You have some
and they
stuff
just
there.
hit everybody in this complex with it?
Yeah. Whoever
That's pretty
got
cool.
a new rented apartment from them, they left them a gift basket.
Did they own the building?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So we wake up one morning, we're like, we should go check out this church or go find the church. We didn't even look at the gift basket. We're just hungover. We start driving around. We go around the corner, and this little like shopping mall, like warehouse area, and we see Celebration OC, which is the church. So it wasn't the church that left the basket, though. We just pulled in because we're like, oh, it has to be this. It's right around the corner. So we pull in, and I step into that building, and I never knew what the presence of the Holy Spirit felt
It was
like.
this night before. It was like a light night out with hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, or it was a bender?
No, this was a bender.
Okay.
Yeah, this was.
So
I think that's an important detail.
Yeah.
Your alcohol content walking into that.
Oh yeah, I
It
was still probably a little drunk from the hungover / drunk from the night before.
Yeah.
We had a rooftop pool at this place. It was a super cool apartment.
Yeah.
And we would go. There's a Target right next to it. We would go get a bottle of whatever we decided to drink that night, and we would sit in the hot tub, and we would just I mean, we made a lot of friends when we did that. But we pull into this church. We get there late. We're like 30 minutes late, and we walk in, and never have I felt the presence of the Holy Spirit the way I did when I walked in that church. It was like there was like a cloud around me, it felt like. And I looked at my buddy, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still a little buzzed, but I felt this like pull on my soul, and I broke out. And from that time, like basically from when my dad passed until I went to that church, I don't think I cried once. Like I internalized all emotions. I went about life and just thought I was all on my own, feeling all these feelings. And I was like, nobody cares. Like I just got to keep pushing through. And it hit me like a freight train. I was like bawling my eyes out. And from there, I didn't miss a Sunday. I went every single Sunday. I was like, because I felt so lost going in there. And I was just trying to find all these worldly things to try to piece my life back together. And my thought was I always wanted to feel like I did when I was playing football in college. I was searching for this feeling. And this feeling was really just numbness, because I was just numbing myself. Like I was either tired from football practice, smoking weed, or I was out on the occasional Saturday night after a game drinking. Like that was my life in college. Wasn't very social. So yeah, get to the point where I'm like, man, this is what I'm missing. Like this piece of my life, this is the hole in my life right now that I'm missing. And that's pretty much when the knock happened. Like God met me where I was at.
So but like the hole you were missing was like the ability to maybe feel, or the ability to have direction, the ability to have something fire you up, or
so the ability to feel was probably a piece
like you
of
didn't
that.
cry at your dad's funeral.
I cried before my dad's funeral. I did not cry at my dad's funeral.
And
I cried when he came home for hospice care.
Yeah,
because it was a 2 week. It was
it was quick.
It was very fast.
They said a year, and it was like it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So just how that happened, because
And what month was it?
this was a couple days after my birthday.
Yeah, he
My
passed away
17th
in
birthday.
April.
April 11th.
Yeah, April 11th. He got the diagnosis.
This is before your senior year or
in
after?
March.
Before.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
But like, like your first game when your dad was in the stands, there was no emotional.
I mean, there was emotions, but I just didn't cry. Like I felt like I was so numb, because my thought was it was either I dwell on this and maybe it ruins my chance. Like my dad didn't want us to do that.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want Bobby to leave West Point. He didn't want me to not pursue what I was
So
doing.
you're like, oh man, if I kind of have some time mourning, I maybe, not fulfilling his wish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like
And I'm sure he just didn't want any of your futures to be messed up.
Yeah. No.
And I think, I mean, we talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because for me,
some kids would have just been like, I'm done.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like the man of the house left. I'm in New York.
Yeah.
We're in California, about as far as you can get within the U.S. away
Yeah.
from my family. So like I had the thought of, hey, what if I come back home and start working to support the family and stuff like that? And then I think we constantly had to remind each other that it's like, I'm pretty sure in the last conversation I had with Dad, like his death wish was me graduating West Point.
Yeah.
And then we would always talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, because yours was still a little unknown because we were so young.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that was
I had got the offer from West Point when my dad fell sick.
Yeah.
So my very first, well, it was kind of my second offer. I had got a verbal offer from Portland State my sophomore year. But my very first like D1 bigger time football offer was from West Point. And they were like, yeah, like we want you to come play O-line for us. And remembering the calls I used to get from Bobby freshman year, he's like, man, I can't, like this place is rough. He's like, I was like, yeah, I probably don't want to do that. I mean, I would have if that was my only option, but yeah.
And I'm just asking as an audience member, like the mental stuff you were going through. It was just, it just sounds like from what you talked about, it was just a malaise.
Yeah.
Like nothing really fired you up other than football.
Nothing fired me up. There was just a lot of anxiety behind.
Like, were you anxious you would mess up a play? Anxious you would?
No, I mean, I was just anxious. I was more so anxious about like my body, which was weird. I was just anxious about what was going on in my body because I mean, I watched my dad get sick and die so fast.
Okay.
And I never, like, I was there for all of it.
Yeah.
So
you're thinking like, oh, this thing in my gut could be cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was,
and to add a little context there, I mean, our whole life was pretty traumatic with health stuff with our dad.
yeah.
Like there were times where he and some of them weren't even related. Like one time he almost choked to death.
Twice.
Really?
Yeah. To where
that?
he's
Yeah.
purple on the floor. My mom's on top of him. And my mom, you met my mom.
It
She's
was just like, what, eating a steak?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom's 5'2",
Yeah.
and
So this thing that comes to my mind is, you guys know who Mickey Mantle is?
He's
So famous baseball
Yeah.
player. I don't know, but he was like a big partier.
Yeah.
And like his approach, no man in his family made it past 40.
Uh-huh.
So he thought he had like 40 was it. And
Yeah.
he was like, hey, I'm in New York. I'm going to have as much fun as I can between 20 and 40.
Yeah.
And now he lived to 60 or 70 and
Yeah.
he had like
he's
Rough.
there was some hell to pay for that.
Yeah.
But like, I think you were like, oh man, I'm not sure I have like 70 years to look at. Like that was the anxiety, I guess.
I was just like, It was a combination of a lot of things. It was a combination of that. It was a combination of not being in the place in life that I wanted to be.
Like, are you like your internal monologues like I'm a loser, I didn't make it to the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did not feel like I was in the place in life that I should have been.
I mean, that's not a fun thought to wake up to.
No, and
it's not very inspiring.
My past was haunting me at that point, and
it was just like a bad voice.
Yeah, it was consistent. Yeah, bad. I guess
like just
bad
voice. Things are going to happen to you.
Yeah,
You're much. A loser, and bad things are going to happen to you.
Yep.
That sounds a lot like the enemy.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
no, it is 100%. Like the enemy found me in isolation, and he dove in. Like it was like
and kind of kept you there.
Open season, yeah. And I think about it. I can't remember if it was King Solomon. Well, it was King Solomon, where God had allowed the spirit of torment to enter in. I could be wrong. It could be another biblical person, but I'm like 90% sure it's King Solomon. He let the spirit of torment enter into him because of the way that he was living life. And I didn't realize that until I became a Christian. I was just like, that very well, it could have been like, because God protects his flock. Like he protects his flock. I wasn't a part of his flock. I once was during my younger years. I feel like God had let that spirit of torment and let the enemy have a field day with me. But it resulted in what I have today.
And so that day in that church, like that burden just was lifted.
Not completely, no.
So you saw a crack.
I saw a
glimpse.
Yes, I saw.
Like what? Was it? Did you hear something? Or you felt something? And then what the feeling said?
Yeah, it was. I walked in the church, and whatever the message was, I can't remember the exact message. I mean, I've heard so many every Sunday since then, but whatever the message was that day had hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, man. And it was week after week after week where it felt like every single week God was speaking to me, because I had a lot to unravel. I had a lot of emotional hangups to work through. And man, so there's certain like worship songs and there's certain verses that I've read, and it's just been like just a complete perspective changer on how I used to live life. But so I know Forrest Frank is big right now. So one of his songs that I listen to, and I don't know if you've listened to, on his last album, he has his testimony. So he talks about his testimony, similar but different than mine. I think he was more a part of the church longer in his life, but he walked away and tried to find purpose in worldly things. But his song, Home, the last song on the album, this last album, when I listened to that song, that kind of depicts how I felt when Christ entered my life. So basically he talked about all the rough things he was going through, and then when Christ pulled him out of that and finally brought him home, which that's where I feel like I'm at now, like especially internally, having that relationship with Christ. Because
it doesn't even sound like you were looking that much.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Well, and from my perspective of obviously being your brother,
mm-hmm.
it almost seemed like the way I liked that feeling that we're talking about with football. I mean, I'm sure you felt that in Rangers, right? Like the feeling that we're, when it's missing, you're kind of searching for it. I just call it the juice. Like that's what I call it.
Yeah, I was a conqueror. I was a person that was known. I was getting national recognition at certain points in my college career. Obviously, injury kind of messed that up. But like my junior year, I was first team All Pac-12 midway through the season. I was having a great season. I was a top 30 guard at the time, and if I feel like I would have finished that season out, I probably would have been ranked even higher. I was one of the better guards in the country at the time. I got an injury, but I probably would have ended the season all first team All Pac-12. And there's a bunch of NFL guys that were in that class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had some juice.
Yeah, you had the juice.
Yeah.
And what I saw, because at the time I still wasn't, you experienced the knock before I did.
Yeah.
And I did see that juice kind of come back into your life.
Yeah.
I mean, we joked about it on the boat, like last year. Like, Jimmy, you were like, the way you guys do karaoke is just, it's intense. Like, you want to be the best. And that's kind of the nature of who we are. I think all three of us at this table. And like you were saying, you went through that kind of a little bit more stale period of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But then I do vividly remember, like, when you experienced that, it was probably weeks after, your enthusiasm and that kind of energy that you bring to things that bring you purpose. Like, you brought that to the church, to Christianity. And I could see you like lighten up a little bit, and that juice seemed to replenish itself.
Yeah.
A good bit.
Yeah. That's definitely what happened. It does. There's a piece of like when my relationship with Christ, it does fire me up, because where I was at and how he just like grabbed me from it. And now
So what did the first glimpse look like? So that one behavioral change is you went to start going to church every Sunday.
That was the first behavioral change. Not a lot. The other stuff didn't change right away. Like, I was still going out. I was still partaking in things I shouldn't be partaking in. And it was like, I mean, I know Bobby jokes about it, but I mean, as a kid, I mean, even now, I think now it's a little bit better. But during that time, stubborn guy. Like, God needs to bring me to my knees in order for me.
So what happened to do that? So when did you get baptized or whatever?
So
when did you go to the next layer?
Okay, so the next layer was first, I don't know, a couple months. I'm going to this church. I'm going every single week. Like, that was my commitment. I'm going every week.
You still showing up drunk?
Not as much. I mean, maybe a little
occasionally.
A little hungover, yeah.
Okay.
Some of the days, but I was committed to finding out truly who Christ was. The next step.
Can I bring up a Bible story real quick?
Sure.
So what it sounds like is like when Moses saw the burning bush. Yeah. And he was just like, huh?
Yeah.
And it's like it kept burning and he kept going and kept showing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great analogy.
You like that scriptural reference?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. But so I'm going through, and the next step was I immersed myself in that church. So I started going to Wednesday men's groups.
And are you like the only single dude there, or like it's all married people, or?
It was a mix. There were some young guys. There was probably 4 or 5 young single guys, and then you had all the way up to like elders in the church, and then our pastor would show up. So it was a very tight-knit community, tight-knit church. It's probably 150 people, and we were actually talking about this morning in our Bible study group. We were talking about John chapter 17, where Jesus was praying for the disciples, and then he's praying for other believers. And we got onto the talk track this morning, and I'll kind of tie it back in, but how we are supposed to be intertwined as followers of Christ. Like, if we're supposed to find that community and do life together. That's how, I mean, you see with a lot of the guys.
With the whole, hey, I'm just spiritual. I do this on my own.
Yeah.
You're saying that doesn't work?
It doesn't work. Yeah. And even just, I mean, the starting point is going to church. I mean, show up. If anything, show up. Like let God be the follower of Christ that is drinking the milk. Like, start there. Be a consumer at first, and then you can get in and start diving into the church. I don't say do that for a very long time, but if you're trying to figure out who Christ is, start there. Yeah, I started getting immersed into this men's group.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of guys. I have a lot of wisdom, like life.
So you start experiencing fellowship.
Fellowship. Yep. So that was the next step. The next layer was fellowship.
And like, what were your objections in your mind at this time? Like, other than you just being naturally stubborn, what were the stuff? I mean, my big objection was like, this is too soft. I'm not doing this.
Yeah. My objection, there was things that were in the Bible and certain lifestyles where I was just like, I don't know if I need to follow that right now. Like, I mean, we could be open and honest. It was like when I was dating, like I was like, wasn't really thinking about marriage or anything like that. I was just kind of dating and just doing, and I wasn't dating the right way. So when I would hear about that stuff, I was just like, that was like, it was what you talked about in your testimony.
the C.S. Lewis cottage.
Oh,
yeah,
you were
where the house, yeah.
Here you go. You can have the front room.
I was like, God, you can have the front room. Maybe you can have the kitchen.
Yeah.
But this room, and this room.
But like the dating room's mine.
Yeah, the dating room's mine.
Okay.
I know the drinking did slow down, but the drinking was still like, and so I don't think inherently that's bad.
I've been watching a lot of Cliff Canuncle shorts. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, I think so. Close enough.
Yeah. And like, he's just straight up. He's like, people really don't have a problem with faith or Jesus or like, does God really exist? Like, that's a front. People just want to live the way they want to live.
Yeah.
And like, I can sympathize between the ages of 18 and 28, call it 30. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah.
I made up some stuff I saw on the internet that said, oh, wait, maybe the church isn't wrong or I never got to atheism, but I'm like, this can't be right.
Dude,
But at the end of the day, I just want to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The extents that we will go to justify our own behavior.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And that's what I was doing. I was justifying my behavior. But the next layer after that was I started to serve at the church. So I started to serve. I did a discipleship class where it was like an intensive 8-week. So we would go to church, and my church wasn't the hour and get out. It was.
Oh man, dude, I went there one time. I went there one time, and I'm used to 15 minutes of worship, 45 minutes of a sermon, and then maybe 10, 15 if we run a little long on like another worship song and maybe announcements. So at the time I had Bobby, he was real little, and we show up. And I wasn't fully saved, so this was still kind of a little.
But when he's going through his, we'll call it revival. What are you skeptical? Are you like
no?
This is
my lukewarm from last episode. This is my lukewarm phase.
Okay,
where I'm going to Wentzville Christian.
Okay,
I'm showing up, but it's not. It hasn't landed.
No commitment yet.
Yeah, no commitment.
Okay,
I go to this church, and it had to have been an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
easy. And I'm just like sitting there like.
Yeah.
What? And at the time, it was the enemy working against me. Like I was getting frustrated. I was like, man, this is so to that point. Yeah. You're not going there for an hour.
No. Shout out Pastor Dan. He's a great pastor. But yeah, his sermons, he'll get after it. Like, and it's not a quiet church. Like it's a little more lively. Mm-hmm. There's definitely, a
little bit of hooping and hollering.
Yeah.
Which, if that's your flavor.
It's not everybody's flavor, but I will forever be grateful for that church. Like that led me to where I am today. But
and so then what's the line in that church? What was the line that's crossed to say, hey, I'm all in? Like, do you get baptized? How did they do it?
So, I mean, baptism was like my outward commitment to Christ. Yeah.
But was that a thing at that church?
Yeah. That's where I got baptized. The first time I ever got baptized.
And how long was that between that and the felt to pull the knock day?
8 months or so. Yeah. So it took me about 8 months. I would have to look back, but
are you calling Bobby and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing? Or
I don't remember. I know my mom showed up, my sister, my stepdad.
Yeah, I'm seeing it all.
Yeah, it was on social media.
Like through conversation.
Okay. You're like, what'd you do this Sunday? And he was like, I did this.
Yeah.
I would say during that time.
And how often did you guys chat back then?
Not a ton.
Yeah, we went through phases where we would talk like every day, and then
there'd be phases where we didn't talk for like a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we always, stayed in contact, but it wasn't as frequent. Now
I have the fortune or the pleasure of seeing you every single day.
Yeah,
there you go.
And talking to you every single day.
Yeah. But I mean, even through that, I went and I got baptized, and there was still a lot of things that I had to keep working through. Like it has truly been a sanctification process where there's been things in my life, like the way I lived life back then and how I've chopped away some of the things that I used to do. it is a complete change.
It's war.
Yeah, it is war, because there's a lot of things in my flesh that I used to gratify my flesh completely in every type of way you can think of. And yeah, it took time. Like those things didn't, it's not like Bobby's favorite saying. We say it every
White picket
podcast.
fence,
The white picket fence. It wasn't like I went and got saved and I was free. Like you even see it in movies sometimes. It's not a very good depiction of
The
salvation and
process.
the journey. And I mean, you see the guys in the Bible. I mean, David was a man after God's own heart. And
do you know the timeline between when Saul got knocked off the horse and when he started evangelizing?
I don't. Oh, what is that timeline?
10 years.
Yeah. So
he got knocked off the horse,
and
then he went back to making tents for 10 years.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You see it time after time. It's not. And God does use a lot of strong-willed men in the Bible. I mean, I would say most of them are. Almost all of them.
They all are. Yeah.
And I would say I'm not saying I'm anything like anybody in the Bible, but I am a very strong-willed person. And there were things that God had to continue, like, come on, you got to. And I can say confidently now, it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years since I gave my life to Christ, maybe a little less. But I'm to the point now where it's still fine-tuning. There's still sanctification in it. But a lot of the big things that I struggled with have died. And it took a lot of time.
And that's an interesting thing. It's when you first start that process, it's like the big sins of premarital sex or drinking or whatever your vice is at the time. Those things start to shed off of you, and then it transitions into how you talk to somebody, like how you reacted, the thoughts in your own head. And I always kind of bring that back to Paul, where it's like the longer that, I'm paraphrasing here, but the longer that he's doing it, and then the closer that he's becoming with Christ or to Christ, the more of a sinner he recognizes that he is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like it's going back to like it being a war. Like it's a almost, some days it feels like it's a minute by minute battle with your flesh.
Yeah. And for me, it took a while for me to truly understand that Christ was with me through everything. Like I always used to question why did this happen to me? Why did I go through that 2 or 3 year stint of feeling the way that I felt, or just feeling empty and no hope? Why? Like that was my consistent question as to why, until I internalized it. It was like, or I thought about it, and through scripture, it's like Christ was with you that whole time. It was that gentle knock. I mean, this is the Knock podcast. Like It was that gentle knock. He was knocking on the door. He was, whenever you're ready to open up the door and truly let me in, I'm going to be sitting right here at the door. And that is sometimes a visualization I have, like when I'm in deep worship or when I'm reading scriptures. That was Christ. He was waiting for me to come home. And
yeah, I think it would be almost safe to say that when you were 10, I was 13. Like that's kind of really when we gave our life to Christ.
Yeah.
And we just had an extreme version of falling away. But it goes back, and I think we've talked about it on this show before, but it goes back to the prodigal son. Yeah. Right? Like, and you just said 10 years, right? And for us, it was 15, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that long.
I mean, we were kids. We didn't know. I mean, I did give my life to Christ. I did it more out of fear when I was 10 years old, because I was in youth, and I vividly remember this.
But fear can be a powerful motivator.
It can.
And it did lay the hardwiring down.
Yeah, for sure.
A healthy reverence of God is a good thing.
For sure.
That's the beginning of wisdom.
Yeah. My fear was, if something were to happen to me, I'm going to burn in hell. I give my life to Christ. Like no questions asked. And I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, did it feel healthy at the time? No, but I mean, yeah, that was the time that I did do the prayer of I give my life to Christ. Now, I feel like as a man, and then there can be ebbs and flows of your faith journey, and like the prodigal son, there's gonna be times where you walk away, but that's why I had to get. I mean, I gave my life to Christ, but I was like, I need to get baptized because this is the time where I truly found a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
I gave I said I gave my life to Christ, but I didn't really know what a relationship with Christ looked like until I was, 27, 28 years old.
What does it look like? Your trials and tribulations, they still exist.
Yeah.
You still go through hard things.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like since you've answered the knock?
I have the most powerful being in whatever you would call the universe, or just
in existence.
Yeah. That has my back, that I have a relationship with. And at that point, it's like, there's not much that I feel like I can't do as long as I'm living my life within his will. And that does come with a lot of dying to yourself. Like, there's still a lot of things that I go through that I'm going through.
After the obvious thing of going out and premarital things, what has been the hardest thing to set aside, let go of, shave off, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, I would say a lot of it. I mean, pride has been tough.
Like what kind of pride? Like athletic pride? Like,
yeah, athletic pride, and then pride and want to just be the best. And if we just talk about financial means, like it's not even a thing of like I want a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm not like this guy, but it's just the competitive edge. And so like it's the difference between, am I doing it for the glory of God, or am I doing it for the glory of Gerrad? And that's been a big thing.
You're a great salesman, and sales got you the juice back, right?
Yeah.
And so I could see somebody else looking from the outside, like, how do you, your juice came with cash a little. You could came with some cash. How do you make sure, the love of money is always going to be a conflict with anybody trying to follow Jesus.
Yeah.
So how do you separate the juice, not following the cash juice, but following the Jesus juice?
Yeah.
Jesus juice.
So yeah, I mean, again, I maybe felt like I had a little juice. I was still dead until I found Christ again. But as far as like separating the two things,
is that the stick? Like, if I know I don't have God in my life, I'm going to go back to call it your abyss.
Yeah. I mean, that is that, but yeah, I couldn't imagine life without my relationship with Christ.
Well, and I know through conversation with you, even since you've, we'll call it, formally answered the knock, the times that because we all, like, our intention sometimes dwindles a little bit, and we have these periods or these seasons where we're not as intentional in the faith.
Yeah.
And then we have things like Exodus, and keeping yourself in a routine that has constant spiritual touch points is the best way that I've found to combat this.
Yeah.
But I know we've had conversations, and you've just been like, man, some of those things are starting to come back a little bit. Like some of the anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know why. Like, we know the recipe.
Right.
Sometimes that's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
We know that we need to get up. We need to bookend our day in the Word. We need to constantly, it goes back to that Peterson and George Janko podcast. In every episode of life, surrendering to what's highest and best, which is our God and Jesus.
Yeah.
So you still kind of go through those ebbs and flows a little bit. And we've talked about that a good bit.
It's just the ebbs and flows are much shorter. They're short. Yeah. They're a day. They're a couple hours. They're not like 2-3 years. They're not weeks. Christ has laid out the recipe. He's laid down the foundation for me. So I know that if I start to feel these certain things, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I'm focusing too much time on my phone and work. Maybe I'm not being intentional with my family. I'm not being intentional with my prayer time. I mean, I'll just outwardly say and be vulnerable. I mean, ever since the whole stuff, like my daughter was born, lack of sleep, stuff like that, it's been a little bit of a rougher go. And I do have some more ebbs and flows because I'm not as intentional. Like I'm very like I'm working. I'm trying to make sure I'm doing things with my family, but I'm not intentional enough with my prayer time or my time in the Word. And it's like I know that, and first thing I do, like this morning, like I didn't wake up feeling super great. I could have went back to sleep and chalked it up as I didn't get enough sleep last night, which I didn't. Or I could have got up and got on my men's group. And it's 6:30. I'm already 30 minutes late. I'm like, I'm gonna get on. And the results of that conversation and the things that we talked about is now going to result in, and this is all God. This isn't me. This is God pushing on me to do the things that He wants me to do. But it's like we had a really good conversation as a men's group today, and now we're going to start meeting in person. We've been we've been doing a virtual men's group for 3 years, and who knows? I mean, maybe it would have still resulted in that, but who knows? Like if I didn't wake up and that's something that I think all young men and actually all men should have is other Christian men to do life with.
Yeah.
That was to talk about one of the biggest things that helped me along my faith journey was having strong Christian men in my corner, because I didn't have my father. I didn't have a father figure from 17 on. So I lived life and was figuring things out on my own. You were across the country in the military, figuring things out the way you had to figure things out. And I lacked that. I lacked male guidance. I don't have any grandpas, don't have any uncles. It's just me and my little sister and my mom. And, that was the biggest thing for me. Like if there is one thing to take away, as if you're a young Christian man or just a man that's trying to follow Christ.
I think the same thing applies to women.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They need their community equally as much.
Men, women, it doesn't matter. Whoever's watching, find a group to do life with. That's the biggest thing. Like, a big thing that I do to keep myself humble and not focus on one is having family. I know if I was a single guy, being a single guy that's doing really well, and then it would have been probably pretty hard to stay on the right path. So I think finding the right woman and building a family, that was big for me. But also giving back. Like, I know it's a tough thing to talk about in church these days. You notice that a lot of churches don't talk about it because it's uncomfortable. But there's a lot of good when you earn, like you go out, you earn, you try to conquer whatever job you have. You gotta find something. You gotta find a way to give back to your community. And I think that keeps.
What do you do? How do you do it?
So I stash away. I think we all have talked about this before, but I put away. I set up my own account, tithe account. Mm-hmm. There's various different missions that I donate to within our church. I've always enjoyed like the one-off helping people that really need help. Like some things will pop up like, oh, somebody needs a washer and dryer. Boom.
Because you already got the cash sitting there.
Yeah. I have I'm just waiting for the opportunity. Like I kind of stash away and I give to the church too. So it's not just for one-off situations, but yeah, if a situation pops up, because I'm in a missions group in my church, if a situation pops up, hey, this lady needs a washer and dryer. Boom, done. This person needs food. Boom, here's a gift card. Like those are the type of things that my wife and I have prayed on, talked about. And
it's just a certain percentage.
Yeah, certain percentage
comes in.
Yeah. I mean, I think the standard is I know it's in the Old Testament, so I know some of those things have went away with, but I still think, being obedient with your money, I think 10% is the starting point. That's the standard. And
do you think there's an advantage to doing it first as opposed to afterthought? Because let's say you got your hunk of cash, what you consider your hunk of cash, and somebody needs a dryer.
Yeah.
If it was my mindset, it'd be like, I feel like I'm going to lose.
It is complete. No matter what money comes into our account, doesn't matter what it comes from, whether it's my wife, whether it's from the business, whatever it comes from. My first step is I put the money in the tax account because Uncle Sam's going to come grabbing his money. And then the money goes. It's not even a question. It doesn't matter. Like I told my wife, like when we combined bank accounts, I was like, this is how I've been doing things. Like I plan to continue. And she was just, you handle that.
So I had a really good conversation. It's actually, we were at a CG dinner with Micah, and Micah's kind of like in the real estate community that we're in, he's like the wise older Christian.
Yeah.
Right. He's super. I mean,
great evangelist.
Yeah. His presentations on real estate.
He'd be a great podcast guest.
He would be. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But his presentations at CG, we would talk about something real estate, and God's in it. Like no matter what, God's in. So we all went out to dinner, and I had this exact conversation with him as I started seeing the trajectory of the business. I asked him, I was like, hey, how do I avoid being the rich young ruler? Right? Because that's like right when the partnership formed, we saw Little Rock taking off, and we were like, okay, things are going to be pretty good. So you said something that's kind of stayed with me in regards to this, that when we're talking about money and stuff like that, like you are inherently playing with fire, right? So I had this conversation with him knowing that he's kind of like a lot of the Christians go to him. He's the wisdom guy. And that's exactly what he said. He's like, hey, tithes and offerings. The prescription is 10%, right? You can get into debates about New Testament, Old Testament, but I think it's generally accepted. The prescription is 10%. Offerings, which we're called to as well, is anything above that. So that's been a huge perspective changer for me. Yeah. Where it's like, I do the exact same thing. I think it came from like Profit First, where it's like, oh, let's throw in a tithe account into that kind of model. Yeah. So I do the exact same thing. But, one of the people that I look to for inspiration in that is J.C. Penney. So something really cool that J.C. Penney did, he did basically reverse tithing. I mean, he, made a lot of money in his lifetime. And he got to the point where he was tithing 90% of his income and keeping 10. And that 10 that he was keeping back in the day was still probably a pretty hefty, pretty hefty sum, but he was tithing 90%. So when I think about, making sure that you're not idolizing money and things like that, I think that's a big reminder. Yeah, you got to be I think the 10% is obedience. Yeah. I know a lot of people get weird when they talk about money, but that, for me, when I read the scriptures and anything I've learned, it's like 10%. Yeah, if you're gonna be obedient with the things that because you can't take the blessings that God gives you. It's like, oh, thanks God, like this is all me. Thanks God, turn around like this is my pot.
No, I mean, I think the start of it is to be obedient with the things that God has entrusted you with. 10% is a good starting point. Now, again, you could definitely do more. Like that is the bare minimum. Well, maybe not even the bare minimum. I mean, I feel like that's just that's
a prescription.
Yeah. That is a prescription.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, there's stories where it's like, hey, somebody that has a penny, if they give that penny with joy in their heart and that desire to give, like that's, Cain and Abel. There's a lot of different stories. Yeah. But back to you in answering the knock and this transformation that I think we've all seen, our whole family has seen in you. What's the biggest? I know you said community. Do you have any other advice for people that are maybe on the fence, or maybe they're going through that lukewarm season that we've all kind of experienced?
Yeah. Man. So obviously start, like I said from the beginning, start somewhere. Like whether it's open up your Bible, open up one of the apps, find a church, do that first. Like you don't have to start. It doesn't have to be do everything all at once. You don't gotta start going to church, get into a Bible group. You don't have to do all those things. Now, do I think there's benefit in that? Yes. But start somewhere. And if it's watching this podcast, that's your first step. Great.
Yeah, I mean that's the hope behind, like the heart behind this.
Start there. But yeah, from there, I think it's community, it's discipline. It's discipline in staying in your word. It's discipline in your prayer life. And it's being open-minded and having the willingness to, because we're taught and conditioned in so many different ways, and there's so many different pushes and pulls. Like if you just open up social media, like social media can be good, but there's a lot of things that if you're not in the right place can be bad, where it can push and pull and give you all this different information and this perspective or this perspective. And it's just an up and down roller coaster. Like, man, find some quiet time, be disciplined in the things that you are consuming, and just let God do the work. You don't have to be this person that goes out and just tries to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
It takes time.
So you hear this you brought up social media. You hear this on social media a lot. A lot of people, they explore different religions. They do all these different things. Us three at this table, like it was either we're not in it and then we're in it, right? And there wasn't really much of a decision making process to why it's Jesus over Muhammad, over Joseph Smith, right? So how did you, in this, it's not like you went on a hunt like Jimmy mentioned earlier. You weren't hunting for something. Well, how did you know that this was the way, the truth, and the life?
Yeah. So that actually brings up a really good point that I didn't really talk about. So through college, you have the FCA. Our coach was a Christian guy. Like his son was on the team. He was a Christian guy. We had some Christian guys on our team. When I went to college, and this is part of going to a state-funded college, I would say, God is not very prevalent in those areas. In Boulder, Colorado, like God is not the focus. Like great town, great people, love
and
football.
I'm sure there's good churches. And
Christians there, but that's not
generally speaking.
Generally speaking, you walk on campus. If you see a guy preaching on campus, like they're getting yelled at and booed and all this stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of, I guess it depends on how you approach that stuff. But I did go through a little stint in college where I was like, maybe there's not one answer to God, what God is. Like, how could all these people be wrong and only one small group of people are right? And I did, for a while, I thought that was my thought on religion. Now, if I went and chose something to go to, like if I went to a little service, like a prayer group or something before the game, like I just did it because I wanted to, like I was like, oh, maybe God will help me play good. Like that was my thought behind it. Yeah. But I still, like deep down, I never thought like, oh, this is the one true way. And I don't really know I can't really think about when that happened. Where I think it was the presence of the Holy Spirit when it showed up. That's
what I was going to say. Is it that empowerment from the Holy Spirit to where it makes it? Because it sounds like you were uncertain, and then all of a sudden flip the switch. You walk into that church, and then there's like certainty, and we have to go through sanctification. We have to go through all these hard things. Yeah, shed the bad branches off of us, but when it comes to whether or not it is the way, the truth, or the life, like it was just like, boom.
Yeah, it was. I walked in, I felt a presence that I've never felt before. I felt the presence of the Holy Spirit, and it was week after week after week. And I probably had a lot of hangups at that time, but week after week after week, something in each sermon spoke to something I was going through in life, and I was able to directly correlate it to what I was going through. And I'm like, there's no way.
It's not a coincidence.
There's no way that there's not a coincidence. I mean, just for instance, it still happens. This service this Sunday about spiritual warfare. Like I come home, I'm exhausted. I have a new baby in the house, all these things, a lot of different emotions and things going on. And I definitely, like, my prayers, like, there was some attacks of spiritual warfare, just internally, because, my prayer the night before, Saturday night, I'm laying down with Vivian before we go to bed, and I'm laying on her floor like we usually pray before bed. So I'm holding her hand. I'm praying. She's getting ready for bedtime. And I was just praying about the authority that Christ gives you. I was praying for that authority, praying to remember that we have that authority and dominion. And all these things were flowing through my mind, and all these different verses that I've learned through my time in discipleship class, and then through all the time spent with, our men's group and through church. And like, I start to feel empowered. Like, I'm like
the armor.
Yeah. That is a consistent prayer of mine.
Yeah.
The shoes of peace, the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit. Like that, whenever I feel attacked by the enemy, I pray that. Ephesians 6.
That was a good.
That was excellent.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. That empowers me, and that was another big thing too. Is like, I always used to feel like I was just not like I was just big and bad, but like I felt to a certain degree untouchable for a little bit. When you're a football player, you're a big guy, like you're
steamrolling
just
kids,
steamrolling people, and
you're not steamrolling kids, you're steamrolling other
grown men,
Division I grown men.
Yeah. Like, I'm like winning all these cool awards, and like I was hardest hitter on my team my junior or senior year.
Was that the Hammer Award?
Yeah, Hammer Award. I won the Hammer Award. I'm like, man, I'm just wrecking people. And like, when I've never felt more empowered through Christ. But not to go too far, but yeah, we wake up Sunday morning and I'm still feeling a little, just a little off. Like, I mean, my prayers are like getting better, and like I'm starting to feel like I'm finding that connection again. And yeah, the first thing I walk in, we start talking about spiritual warfare. I'm like, it's not by coincidence. Like, God knows what his people need, and that was a big thing for me. I was like, there's way too many coincidences for Christ not to be the one true God. Like, the things I saw at Celebration, I mean, I've seen, like, really cool story. He's one of my buddies, but there's a guy in the church. I just started going to the church, and guy, 30 something years old at the time, fell sick, was having seizures, on life support. Like, they were putting things over him to keep his organs alive, so that, because they were going to harvest his organs when he died. Like, that's how far along he was gone. And the power of prayer in that church, and this is just one example. Like, this is not even the main reason, but the power of prayer in that church, and it was every Sunday. Everybody came around, prayed and prayed and prayed. 3-4 weeks later, I'm playing basketball with this guy.
Dang.
I'm playing basketball with this guy.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, man, there's no, like, it's just like all these things are lining out. And I'm like, man.
You can't even have like a minor injury and go 3-4. Like, you're on your deathbed and then you're playing basketball.
Yeah. It was insane. Like, the things that I've seen, and the thing, how Christ has worked in my life, in your life, and even, I mean, your life, and the stories that I've heard from all the people that I'm around, like, and then how intricate we are as humans. And it's like how we, like things we're talking about, like reason and the connection that we have, and all these different things. How can you say that there's not a God?
Yeah. No, I mean, that all of that is super powerful. So you already hit us with your advice. That's usually how we kind of wrap things up.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're, when it comes to reading the Bible, you're a well-read man. And I'm going to try not to put you on the spot too much. Mm-hmm. But what's your favorite Bible verse?
I'm so bad with like verse numbers, but it's in 1 Timothy. It's God doesn't give you the fear or the spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-control. It's 1 Timothy. I don't know.
We'll put it in the notes.
It's legit. It's legit hanging up. It's on it's in my living room. So if
Yeah.
you go and see the couch, I'm just the numbers and all that stuff.
I mean,
but
you know it.
Yeah,
So that's,
yeah. So that one, and then I think is it Psalm 139 where if I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed deep in the depths, you are there. Behold, I can't remember the rest of it, but basically that your hand of guidance is with me through it all. And that when I heard that verse, I actually heard it watching The Chosen. Like it was like a boom, like something went off in my mind where it's like, man, because I was during the time I was going through like, why is this happening to me? Like my past was the enemy was trying to remind me of my past all the time. I was like, God was with me through every single step of the way, and He was waiting for me to open the door. He was waiting for me to answer that knock. And once that happened, like my life has radically changed. Like I used to not even be able to talk about that stuff. Like this is probably the first time that I've actually sat down and talked about in depth about my, like what I truly went through and why I was going through it. I used to just kind of keep it in. But yeah, man, I do that now, and Christ like empowers me through it. Like it is, my testimony is my strength. Like that I can be here today and share that. It fires me up when I get to talk about Christ with other people, or I get to talk about my testimony and I get to tell people where I was and where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I can't describe it.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I admire about you, and I think we actually talked about this early on when you met Gerrad, it's like, man, you can be anywhere in any room with any group of people, and at some point in time of the night or the day, whatever the event is, at some point in time, you're going to be sitting there talking to God about somebody, or talking about God to somebody.
Yeah.
Like it never fails.
Yeah.
I mean, in the basement of my neighbor's house, right? Like it doesn't matter what the setting is, like you're grabbing somebody and you're evangelizing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And all thanks to God. I mean, He puts that stuff on my heart to have those conversations, but
and you're obedient.
Yeah. And I mean, man, again, it brings a lot of emotion too, when I just think about where God has brought me from. And it's just, I'm losing my words, but it's like, that's why I'm so passionate about sharing Christ with others, because I know how terrible it is to not have Christ.
Yeah.
And I know how, life is not easy. There's still a lot of trials, and I go through a lot of the same trials, that like a lot of the same things are thrown at me. But when you have that presence, there's joy, there's peace. Like I truly can say that I feel that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that was good, man. That was good. I hope if there's somebody out here there listening that, you find some hope and strength in Gerrad's testimony. And Jimmy, I appreciate you getting more out of Gerrad than I probably would have been able to.
Thanks for having me on, guys. This was fun.
Yeah. It's all right.
Sure.
I had never heard your testimony story. We spent a lot of time talking about Jesus, but I never knew that story. So that was cool.
Yeah. It's really good. Really powerful. So thanks, guys. And,
if you like the podcast, please like, share, and subscribe.
Boom.
Yeah.
Do it.
Like, share,
there we
subscribe.
Go. Yeah. I mean, truly, if we can continue to get people to listen to this, continue to share this, our goal in this is not for the recognition of any of us three. Our goal is that somebody that's scrolling at midnight, that's going through what you're going through things that you've gone through, that I've gone through, that any of our guests have gone through, they hear that and they have hope, and it all points to Jesus.
Yeah.
So that's the heart behind this podcast.
Yeah. And if you are going through some tough times, I know all of our social medias are out there through the podcast. Yeah. Reach out to us. Doesn't matter.
Gerrad will get on a phone call with you. Don't worry.
I mean, that's what I do all day. So I talk to people, and it does not matter. Don't be afraid to reach out to us. Like, we're not going to be, if you reach out to us, we're going to make an effort to have a conversation with you. And we just give you encouragement and hope you help you find your way. So
yeah, for sure. All right, guys, appreciate it. Thanks for tuning into The Knock. If this story moved you or made you think, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope. Follow us on social media at The Knock Podcast for more content. And remember, God is always knocking. The question is, will you answer?